Marvel and Arc System Works shocked the world at the most recent PlayStation State of Play when they announced Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, a 4v4 tag fighting game that features the characters of the Marvel Universe. And as someone whose love of the Marvel Universe can be traced back to the Marvel vs. Capcom games, I could not help myself but think of all the possibilities when it came to this roster. Let's talk about it. Hey Internet, I'm Chris, and this is the place on the internet where I talk about comics, movies, games, and things I'm generally passionate about. If you want to hear more about Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Marvel and Arc System Works revealed Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. I'm going to be honest, I thought I was watching a trailer for Marvel vs. Capcom 4, which would have been super dope. Now, that's probably not going to happen now that this game is happening, but excited nonetheless. Arc System Works is looking to bring that vibe they brought to the Dragon Ball Z universe to the Marvel universe. And I couldn't be happier. And that excitement has brought me to this point, which is the characters I'd love to see in the game. Now, when creating this list, I thought about all the characters that have not appeared in Marvel vs. Capcom games, and I didn't want to overdo it, especially when it came to the X-Men universe, because they've dominated the Marvel fighting game space. Now, that doesn't mean I'll exclude them, but this list will heavily lean into other areas of the Marvel universe. Let's dive in. First and foremost, I'm putting in Matt Murdock, Daredevil. Daredevil is one of my favorite characters. When he appeared in the Spider-Man animated series, that was hype for me. I'd always wished I'd be able to play him in a fighting game. Now, he appeared in Marvel Nemesis, Rise of the Imperfects, but honestly, I really only played that game to watch the opening cinematic. But to be able to throw hands and billy clubs at other characters in the Marvel Universe as Daredevil would be a dream come true. And I think when it comes to Marvel video games, you could kind of see what they're doing in multimedia in terms of the TV shows and the movies to kind of trace back what characters will appear in licensing. And you've already seen that when it comes to Marvel Tokon. Like we've seen characters like Miss Marvel already announced, Doctor Doom, Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, all characters really important to Marvel's multimedia strategy, and I think Daredevil's at the top of that list. And it also helps that he's one of the best hand-to-hand combatants in the Marvel Universe. You can't have a 4v4 tag fighting game without the most famous group of 4 people in the Marvel Universe, which is the Fantastic Four. I'm putting them as one character, because it'll kind of be redundant to go through each and every single one of them, but again, going back to that multimedia strategy, you got Fantastic Four First Steps coming out. We also saw them appear in Marvel Rivals. Depending how big the movie is, I have a feeling that the Fantastic Four is going to be really popular in the coming years, especially when you consider that Doctor Doom will be the main villain of both Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Now, Tokon already has Miss Marvel, and she has a little bit of Reed's powers, but I definitely think they can handle it, especially when you consider that they made a fighting game that consisted of 30 Saiyans. And if we get the thing, it'd be great if they also put the Hulk in it because you could reenact classic scenes from the comics. Seeing how inspired their take on Miss Marvel was, I would love to see America Chavez appear in Marvel Tokon, a character I think is waiting for their breakout moment. Now that should have been Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but Marvel's multiverse saga in the MCU has failed to deliver on that promise. She can literally punch people through alternate dimensions, so I think it definitely adds a fun element to her character, especially when you think about all the tag stuff in the game and the potential all-time character design Arc System Works can deliver. Now I'm not going to ignore the X-Men, but you know I have to put my boy Gambit in. Growing up, Gambit was the coolest Marvel character to me. He threw cards, had a stick, had an accent, was in Marvel vs. Capcom, the X-Men the animated series. He was just cool. And after his appearance in Deadpool and Wolverine and X-Men 97, he is cool again. I'd love to play Gambit in a modern fighting game. I can't wait to make a name for myself as a Gambit main.
Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
Now moving on to a character that has not had a good couple of years, Iron Fist Danny Rand. Now, Lin Lee has had a good time. You know, he's in Marvel Rivals, and that character was extremely popular, especially when the game launched. But I miss Danny, and I think Marvel does. He's returning this fall in a new comic book series, and he's potentially coming back in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. Iron Fist has always had a strange place in my heart. I don't know why. I've liked the comics and stuff like that, but it's not like he was in anything in particular when I was a kid. I just thought it was a cool character, and I guess I just like Marvel characters that can fight with their hands. I just don't know. He's the perfect fit for Marvel Tokon. And while we're on the Defender side of the universe, Luke Cage. Cage would be such a fun character to have in a game like this, especially if you give him a really cool like wrestling move set, make him play like a Zangief. Like imagine he had like a triple pile driver move. That would be insane, and I think that would get the character back in the spotlight. The character hasn't had much luck in the comics. Like they teased that he was going to be Venom, and then a couple years ago, or maybe last year, he had a comic that was canceled before it even came out. So I think my man Luke needs some love. Again, he's one of those characters that might be reappearing in Daredevil Born Again Season 2, but if we don't get that character coming back in that show, I'd love to be able to play him in a fighting game. And since we have Cap in the game, why don't we throw in Bucky, the Winter Soldier? Bucky's very much a stand-in for Cable. You know, if you have one metal arm guy, you can't really have a second one. And I think, again, if you look at Marvel's strategy, yes, Cable appeared in X-Men 97, but was noticeably absent in Deadpool and Wolverine. But Bucky's been all over. He's in Marvel Rivals. He's a part of the new Avengers. He's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. Bucky's a huge character in the Marvel Universe, and you just have to have him in a fighting game. It'd be kind of cool if they introduced sort of like his armed and dangerous move that he has like in Marvel Rivals, where, you know, his arm is kind of like that prototype type thing, and give him his classic look that he had in Captain America and the Winter Soldier and the Ed Brubaker run. And it'd just be fun to see him and Cap tag team in a fighting game. And why don't we throw Sam Wilson in it? Yes, that is a second Captain America, but this one flies.
Oh, they fly now! They fly now! They fly now!
Now, I didn't love Captain America in the Brave New World, but I do like Sam Wilson. I always thought he was a cool character, and just seeing a character that could fly and throw around Captain America's shield. Again, if you look at it from a fighting game perspective, that is such a cool dynamic we haven't seen in a Marvel fighter. And yes, it's a 4v4, but to see a team of Cap, and the Winter Soldier together, and maybe you throw Iron Man in there to spice things up, but that would be super cool, and it would be interesting to see what type of team-up finishers they have. And listen, this is a wish list, so if I want to throw in 2 Captain Americas, I will. And I will also throw in 2 Spider-Man. Miles Morales. Now, Miles is about as popular as you can get. He's Spider-Man, he has his own movie franchise, and also was the star of a PS5 launch title. But as a Marvel character, you haven't quite made it until you've made a name for yourself in a Marvel fighting game. And with his unique power set that differentiates him from Peter, he'd be such a great addition to the roster. So we have 2 Caps, 2 Spider-Man, and why don't we throw in 2 Iron Man? War Machine. Now, War Machine is not Iron Man, exactly. But Rhodey did become Iron Man at one point. And for me, like, my love of War Machine came from, 1, the Iron Man animated series, and the Spider-Man animated series. Also, Marvel vs. Capcom. He was one of my favorite characters to play alongside with Gambit. He was just cool. He looked like his weapons were awesome, and then I was always disappointed at like his depiction in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Don Cheadle's great, but I always thought like he should have his own moment, and Armor Wars never really materialized. He became a Skrull in Secret Invasion. The less said about that, the better. So let's get Rhodey back in a fighting game. And one of my favorite things about the Tokon trailer and sort of the reveal was just Iron Man's design. Like, imagine a Gundam-like War Machine. That would be insane, and he'd play so completely different. Like, again, let's get War Machine in this game. One of my favorite things that Marvel's done over the past couple years is actually the Thunderbolts. And one of the characters that's actually broken through in this whole multiverse saga is Yelena, Black Widow's sister. Now, she doesn't have the same multimedia presence that some of the other characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe have. Like Natasha has been the one appearing in video games, but like I think Yelena and Florence Pugh have a big enough fan base, and I love that character, especially the way they've been appearing in Hawkeye, the Black Widow movie, and also Thunderbolts, that I just want to be able to play her. Like, it would be so cool to kind of see her in a video game and take that character's popularity to new heights. Thunderbolts financially didn't do as great as some of the critical response, so it'd be cool to kind of put her in the context of a video game, because I think the way people interact with these characters and sometimes how they get so popular is through that. We've seen that with Marvel Rivals, with characters like Jeff and Squirrel Girl, so I think Yelena needs that. And she's a badass. So 2 Iron Man, 2 Spider-Man, 2 Captain Americas. What about 2 Daredevils? Elektra. Elektra is such a dope character, and especially over the last couple years with Zdarsky's run, seeing her take over the mantle of Daredevil and her fighting side by side with Matt, like, I really want to see her back in the Daredevil show. Like, I miss that character in live action. So why not put that emotion in a video game. Like, she would be such a fun character to kind of have in that. Like, obviously, she's very different from Matt, she doesn't have a power set, but she has her twin size, so she could throw those around. Like, and again, you could put in her costume from the comics when she was Daredevil. I think that's like one of the most badass designs in Marvel Comics over the past couple years. Like America Chavez, Moon Knight didn't have the exact MCU debut that I would have hoped for. I love Oscar Isaac, didn't love the show so much, but I love the character, and I think it's the perfect character for this type of game. Moon Knight's been great in Marvel Rivals, a character whose comics I love, and obviously is a great hand-to-hand combat fighter. And when you look at a character like Moon Knight, it'd be cool to see them in a fighting game, have them switch between stances, and then you'll have Mr. Knight and then typical Moon Knight. That'd be a cool gameplay dynamic that I think we haven't quite seen in Marvel fighting games yet. And again, I don't think I'm going to see Moon Knight in live action anytime soon because of the reception to that series. So I want to see them in Marvel Tokon. Now, I may have traded out the X-Men for the Fantastic Four with this list because I'm adding the 5th Fantastic Four character to this game's roster, which is Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is just objectively one of the coolest characters in the Marvel universe. Has so many different powers, rides a surfboard, is one of the all-time aura farmers in the history of fiction. So it's only right that he's in a popular fighting game. Now, the Shala Ball version of Silver Surfer is appearing in Fantastic Four First Steps, but I want to see Norrin Radd in this game, and that is my wish list for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. And what do you guys think? Who would you like to be added to the Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls roster? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to hit the description to join the Discord. And with that, peace.